Hello guys, today we're going to do English. We're going to start with Term 2, Week 1's Monday's work. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to learn some new concepts and new vocabulary. We're going to read, we're going to do some creative thinking, and we're going to do some writing. Now let's start with listening and speaking. Before we start with that, let's sing a song about a theme that we're going to do for this next 3 weeks. Okay. The song is called Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, and I believe that all of you know it. So let's sing it together. And while we sing it, I want you to do the moves and see if you can remember it. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. From eyes to ears, one mouth and a nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Good work, I see you remember it, but let's see if you can do it quicker. 1, 2, 3. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. From eyes to ears, one mouth and a nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Okay, good work. Now, what we're going to do is first we're going to look at 2 children here on our beautiful slide. A little girl and a little boy. Now, let's see if you remember the parts. First, I'm going to tell you the singular form and then the plural form. After that, we're going to look if you remember it all by yourself. Now remember, singular is when there's only one of something. Plural is when there's more than one. Also remember, more than one means there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 1,000 or uncountable amounts of it. Okay. So let's start with the first part. This part is called hair. Singular is hair, plural is also hair. Next part, we call it our head. 1 head, plural, 2 heads. Okay, next part. We have 1 eye, and if we have 2, we have, plural, 2 eyes. Okay, good work remembering so far. Next part. I have singular 1 nose, plural 2 noses. Next part. We have 1 ear and plural 2 ears. Let's see if you remember the next part. That's correct. We have 1 mouth and plural would be we have 2 mouths. Okay, next part. Let's see who remembers this one. 1 singular neck, 2 necks. Good work. Singular arm, plural 2 arms. Singular 1 tummy or 1 belly, plural 2 tummies or 2 bellies. Now remember, don't get confused. A tummy or a belly is on the outside of our body. A stomach is the one that's inside where our food goes. So when we point to our tummy on the outside, we cannot say that it is a stomach. Next part. Singular, 1 hand, plural, 2 or more hands. We have singular, 1 leg, plural, 2 legs. And the next part, the last one for this part, is we have singular, 1 foot, plural, 2 feet. Now I see that most of you remember all of it. Good work, you guys. And keep on doing your best. Now, the next part, I'm going to teach you some new extra vocabulary. Some of you might know it, but I know there's some of you who don't. So listen very carefully and look where it is on your body. While you look on where it is, I want you to point to it and to practice the word while we do it, so that you can remember it for the next part. This first part is an eyebrow. If we have more than 1 eyebrow, we call it eyebrows. The next part, we have an eyelash. Now you must remember, 1 eyelash is not just the one piece, the entire piece of your whole eye at the top. An eyelash is one small piece of that piece. At your eye, all of those together are called many eyelashes. The next part we're going to look at is right underneath your eyes, and it's called cheeks in plural. Now remember, singular, cheek, plural, cheeks. The next part, underneath your head, at the bottom, that hard part that moves while you eat, is called singular, a chin. Plural, if there's two or more, it's called chins. Next part, you have one shoulder, plural, two shoulders. The next part, we have one wrist, plural, we have two wrists. Now a wrist is where your hand and your arm is connected. That small piece that when you move your hands, you feel it is tight to your arm. That part is your wrist. Remember, singular, one wrist, plural, two or more wrists. Now the next part, I believe all of you know this one. One finger, plural, two or three or four or even 10 or more fingers. The next part, singular, one knee, plural, two or more knees. Next part, one ankle, plural, two ankles. Now remember, the ankle is the back of your foot, that round part there, the back. We call it an ankle. Remember, singular, one ankle, plural, two or more ankles. The last part of this piece, we have one toe, singular, plural, two or three or 10 or more toes. Okay, now let's see, what do you remember? I'm going to show the picture to you and then I'm going to circle it for you. Then you, by yourself, must point to your body wherever that part is and name it. Let's start with the first one. Let's see who remembers this part. That's correct. It's your head. The next part. Your hair. Well done. Next part. Now don't poke your own one out. That's correct. It's an eye. Next part. Good work. That's your ear. Next part. Good. That's your nose. That's correct. That's your mouth. Correct again. That's your neck. Good work. That's your arm. And the next part, do you know that? That's right. That's your hand. Ooh, now be careful what you name this one. Remember, one that you name is on the inside, the other one is on the outside. Good work. Tummy or belly. Next part. That's right. It's your leg. And the last one for this part. Good work. That's your foot. Well done. Now let's see if you know or remember the extra vocabulary that we learned today. What is this first piece? Good work. Yes, that's your eyebrow. Next part. Now remember, don't say eyelash. It's more than one piece, so it's eyelashes. Good work. That's right, that's your cheek. Ooh, now be careful, that one's not your neck. Remember, that one is a little bit underneath. When you chew, it moves around. Good work, that's your chin. That's correct, that's your shoulder. Correct again, that's your wrist. Now, if you forgot that word, it's okay. You can still practice it. Next one. Good, those are your fingers. That's correct, that's your knee. Good, your ankle, and the last one there. Good work, your toes. Okay, now let's get to the next part. Now we're going to do some reading. But before we start, I'm going to teach you a new concept. I'm going to teach you about reading a Playscript. Now before we can start, let's talk about what is a Playscript. A Playscript is a written version of a play which is used to prepare for a performance. You know, like when people are acting on a TV and they make a show or a movie. Now, do you think it just happens like that? Oh, no. First, they want to write a story. So first, they must get an idea. Then they think, okay, what characters will they have? What are they going to do? What will they wear? What will they say? Then they write it. Now, before they can give it to someone to do, they must first have someone to check their work and their spelling to make sure it's correct. Then they give it to people who practice acting and practice to do it correct and practice saying the words. And then when they do it at their best, they perform it for us. Okay, so how does a Playscript work? Now I'm going to tell you 3 important things. Firstly, there are different roles or characters. When we read a Playscript now, you will see the names of the people are always on the left. Those are the people who have the roles or the people who are the characters. That is, for example, let's say Captain Hook, a pirate, or a mummy, or Dracula. Okay, now the second thing, things that they say and do. Now those things follow after the character's name. Those things are usually like, hello mum, or in brackets, she's eating an apple. Then when the people act it, they will literally take an apple, act as if they're eating it, things like that. Let's see this picture that I have. For example, things they can say and do. They can talk on a telephone while they are sitting. That's something they do. Something they say, hello, how are you? Now the third thing is the place where it happens. For example, in a castle, in the woods, or anywhere else. Okay, now we are going to read a story together, a Playscript called King Midas' Golden Touch. So you must look very carefully. On the left, every time you'll see the character's name, and then after it will follow what they say and what they do. And you must listen very carefully to know where the place is. Okay, now I'm not going to read a character's name because remember, the character's name is just there to show, okay, it's a different character. Once upon a time, a king called Midas lived in Greece. He had everything a person could want, but he was not happy. All I want is more gold. One day, Apollo came to Midas. You can wish for anything you want. I want everything I touch to turn to gold. Your wish shall be granted. Midas was very happy. Later, he became very thirsty. Oh no, my drink has turned to gold. Midas was hungry. Ooh, look at the picture. What do you think's gonna happen? Oh no, my apple has turned to gold. It tastes horrible. Midas' little girl came running in. Hello, Daddy! But when he hugged her, she turned to gold. Midas was very sad. I have been so foolish. I would rather have my daughter than all the gold in the world. At last, he met a wise man. To cancel your wish, you must wash away your greed in the river. Midas did as he was told, and his golden touch washed away. He ran home and found his daughter alive again. And that, you guys, is the end. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions to see who of you listened. Now you can write these answers down, or if you struggle with writing, then you tell it to your parents or your grandma, grandpa, your aunt, or your great niece or your great nephew or anyone who's with you that can write. But I encourage you to practice writing. Okay, first question. What was the king's name? Question number 2. Was the king happy? Was he happy? What showed you that he was or wasn't happy? How many roles or characters were in this play script? Can you name them? What was the king's wish? Name the 3 things which he turned into gold. Did Apollo tell the king to go wash his greed away in the river? Was he still greedy at the end of the story? And why do you say so? Did the king have a son or a daughter? And what other words proved this to you? Okay, now I hope you have your answers close to you. Let's see what the answers were. Okay, first question was, what was the king's name? Now I believe all of you got this one. The king's name was Midas. Question number 2. Was he happy? And what showed you that he was or wasn't happy? Okay, no, the king was not happy. He said that all he wanted was more gold. Then third question. How many roles or characters were in the play script? Can you name them? Now there were 5 characters in the play script. First one, the narrator, King Midas, his daughter, Apollo, and the wise man. Question number 4. What was the king's wish? The king's wish was he wanted everything he touches to turn into gold. Question number 5. Name the 3 things which he turned into gold. His drink, an apple, and his little girl or daughter. Question number 6. Did Apollo tell the king to go wash his greed away in the river? The answer was no. The wise man told the king to go wash his greed away in the river, not Apollo. Question number 7. Was he still greedy at the end of the story? And why do you say so? The answer was no, he wasn't greedy anymore. And after that, any explanation that fits with this one was correct. My explanation was no, because he said he would rather have his daughter than all the gold in the world. And when he saw his daughter alive again, he was happy. Question number 8. Did the king have a son or a daughter? And what other words proved this to you? Okay, now the answer there was a daughter. The words that proved it to you was the words in the story, Midas' little girl. Okay, now the next concept I'm going to teach you is how to write a friendly letter. Now, what is a friendly letter? A friendly letter is a letter that we write to our friends, our parents or brothers and sisters, or to our extended family like grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncle, nieces, nephews. Those people we talk anyway that we are used to, like, hey, how are you? And words like that, words that are not professional. So a friendly letter is not for people like the president or a businessman or those people. A friendly letter are to people who you are close with, like we named earlier, friends, family, those ones. Now, we're going to talk about the different parts of a friendly letter. There are 5 main parts that are very, very important. The first part there is the date. The date there we're going to call most of the time the header or the heading. When you get to a bigger grade, you're going to have a bigger piece there, but that you will learn in grade 3 and grade 4 and up. Okay, so the first piece there is our header, our heading. The next part is the greeting, the dear Jane, the dear mum, dear sister, or whoever you're writing to. That's where you greet, the greeting. The next part is the body. Now, it's not the real body that moves around. The body here is just a piece that you write that you want to tell your family or your friend or your mum or your dad about. Okay, now the next part is the closing. The closing is where you write from or with love or things like that. That's a piece that you end with. And then you end the last piece, number 5, with your signature. Now that is where you write your name. 5 pieces. The heading, where you write your date. Greeting, where you write dear and the person's name. The body, where you write your letter about what you want to tell them. The closing, from, the word from, or with love, or see you soon. And then the signature, your name at the end. Okay, let's see if you can remember it. I'm going to show you a short letter with the 5 pieces of the letter next to it. Remember, the 5 pieces are the header, the greeting, the body, the closing, and the signature. But it's mixed up. So now I want you to look and to point to where that piece is. After that, I'm going to show you where it was, and then you look if the answer is correct. Okay, first one they tell us is signature. Let's see if you can find it. Now here's my answer. Here's where the signature was. Does it agree? If it does, good work. Next piece, the header. Let's see if you can find it. Here's where my header is. If you have the same piece, good work. Next part, body. Let's see if you have the same one as me. Here's my piece. This is where the body was. Okay, next piece, the greeting. Here's where the greeting was. Look if your answer is correct. If it is, well done. Last piece, the closing. Did you find it? Here's where it was. If you have it, excellent work. Okay, off to the second last part, writing. Now what we're going to do is, if you have a paper there, I want you to write it on your paper. Otherwise, if your mum or dad can borrow you their phone on the notes part, then you can borrow it and type it there. Otherwise, you can write it on the ground, or you can just say it up. Okay, we're going to write 2 riddles. Now I want you to think about it. I want you to start with I have, and continue, but cannot, and end with what am I. After that, if you have a paper, I want you to draw a picture about your answer after it. Let me show you an example. I have 8 arms, but cannot write. What am I? My picture is an octopus, because an octopus has 8 arms, but he cannot write. Have you ever seen one writing? I sure haven't. Okay, the last part. A little bit of homework, but don't worry, it's lovely and fun. Okay, first part of the homework is, I want you to practice acting that Playscript, the one about King Midas and his golden touch. Second part is, I want you to practice 10 spelling words for me. The word baby, lady, holiday, face, great, maid, display, afraid, sprain, and mermaid. If you can, I want you to write it 10 times, each word, on a piece of paper. After that, if your parents are able to do it with you, I want them to ask you to go write it, and they must say to you 1 word at a time. For example, mermaid. And then you must write it all by yourself, without checking or anything. When you're done writing all 10 words, I want you to check if you got all 10 right. If not, you can still practice it. It's okay. You have this whole week. Monday, you go practice it. Tuesday, go practice it. Wednesday, you go practice it. Thursday, and then Friday. Saturday and Sunday, you're gonna go rest. Thank you very much for your time, and cannot wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.